vaults were created and designed by a corporation named Vault-Tec, who were in contract with the US government. They were created at a time of nationwide scare. They claimed vaults were made to protect a small fraction of the US population from nuclear war. However, outside a couple control vaults, the main purpose was to experiment on the American population in order to conduct scientific research. Evil.
It's gonna make it easier, trust me.
Vault 3 is in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's a control vault. So like most of the vaults I think were like experimental, and then they had like a couple that were like control, just like
Where they did nothing.
yeah.
No social experiments. Or
They got lucky.
Lucky ones, dude.
100%, bro. Because like I don't think like a lot of them even knew until they were like in the vault, the bombs dropped, and then the doors closed, and then they were like, by the way, like this is what we're gonna be doing here.
They had no idea.
Yeah.
That, like every time you play the game, you get into the vault and they kind of like just freeze you or do something weird.
Well, yeah, I feel like I felt like this off the series too.
Mhm.
What generation would you want to be in the control vault? Because like,
Yeah.
if you're like 3 generations in, you're already mind watch this, whatever. You're chilling. You just live your whatever life
Yeah.
in there, and it's totally chilling, bro.
Honestly, I'd
But,
want to be in the generation that's like that gets to go explore out there.
Right.
You know, there's been like 2 to 3 generations before you, and they're like, finally, like we can open the doors and like go explore. I'd be like, I'd kind of want to be a part of that one. So you get to
Right.
see what the vault's like.
You
but
wanna be
also get to,
scared?
like, dude, I mean, I wouldn't want to just be in a vault, always wondering like what's outside.
Yeah.
You know, like for your whole life, just in a contained living situation.
Do you think the first couple generations go through that though, or are they just like, hey, we good, we
Well-
alive, bro? We just
They're
trying to
probably
live.
Well, bro.
not worried about anything.
Yeah, that's
It
what I'm
depends on the
thinking, bro.
experiment too, right? Because some
Yeah.
experiments,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you know, didn't even close it right. So it's like they all, I think, opened up at kind of different times.
Yeah.
Some of
Yeah.
them were like closed for like the longest time, like generations, and then some it was like right away.
Right.
Some didn't even close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vault dwellers chose to remain in isolation for over a century until a water leak forced them to open their vault doors and like go out into the wasteland and like look for trade. That didn't go too well. Everybody in the vault was pretty much massacred, and the vault was taken over by the fiends. As you can see in New Vegas, like when you walk up in there,
Yeah.
it's like a
Yeah,
straight
no.
like fiend
I
territory.
literally remember that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
happens
Yeah.
all the time.
It's also kind of cool too. Just one more thing, how it's like Vault 3. That is the lowest number we've seen so far.
Yeah, that
out of
is
like
cool.
anything,
That is
Yeah.
which is kind of neat. Like you
Yeah.
wonder what like 1 is, right?
Right.
I had somebody really important like the owner of Vault-Tec.
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay, so
Right.
that's another thing in this series. When they were all around the round table, they started
Yeah.
discussing that they were gonna like give some of the vaults to like other big corporations, and then they could decide what the experiments were. So maybe the like severity of the experiment reflects on those persons' like morals, or like, you know, how they feel about people in Earth.
Oh yeah, that's a theory.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like that theory
Yeah, I can see that too.
because like all these companies were a part of it. Robco,
Yeah.
um,
Like Mr.
Who
House,
else?
right?
yeah, who like a bunch of other people.
Mhm.
I think so because like they have like themes in like each vault that will have like a robot or
Mm-hmm.
whatever the product was to experiment on people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that makes
And we
sense.
should probably mention too that like the overseer is like the almost like the president of the vault. It's like the person in charge that makes like the decisions.
Right, the leader. the
Yeah,
president,
just so people know.
There's this vault we'll get to that has like a crazy story about choosing the overseer. And
Oh, I know which one you're
I,
talking about.
I do too.
Yeah. I like that one.
Yes,
that
guys.
one's cool, man. Let's go. I like that I'm
Let's-
all versed
okay.
on it. Like,
Let's go on the next one. Vault 4 was an LA, California publicly known experiment, a vault governed exclusively by scientists with no other oversight. Scientists adopted a policy of letting in survivors to use a genetic experimentation test subjects. Subjects broke free and killed the scientists, but continued to inhabit the vault and accept outsiders, acting as a true refuge from the waste. So in the show, they just like fall down this hole in like this hospital, right?
Yeah,
or
so they
something?
walk into a hospital, they're like beat up, they're looking for medical supplies. There's this obvious door that just says like medical supplies, like all big,
Yeah.
you know, Times New Roman 36 font.
Right.
And then
Exactly.
yeah, the guy goes in first, the door closes, he can't go anywhere, they drop down. Right? So like that's what you were saying. Is like they got new people from the wasteland to experiment on.
Yeah.
I don't know if in the show they were still experimenting or just bringing people in.
Well, I don't know, because, like, yeah, that one guy had the extra eye, and there was some other
So that's the thing
weird
too,
people.
because they've been like a vault that started with scientists and like messing with humans' DNA, dude. Like you'll see, yeah, like a lot of people in that vault in this series,
Mhm.
they have like, you know, mutations, like an ear
Right.
on their head, or
Yeah.
like, you know, just whatever going on.
That guy in the
Cyclops.
show with the eye is
Yeah.
so funny, by the way.
Yeah,
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
He has like no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
All right, I have a question for you guys.
Okay.
Oh,
If you guys were in the vault, what mutation do you think you would have?
Or which one would we want?
Yeah, like what would you want? Would you like,
Interesting.
want like an extra eye or like?
I would want something that you could like use and that wasn't like too out of the way, right? Because like the guy that had the ear like on the side of his head, like you can't wear like a baseball
Yeah,
cap.
somewhere very convenient.
I want something
They're
like-
just kind of there, dude.
Like something like kind of practical. I don't think Cyclops even would be too bad, but then if you get one eye injury, it's like you're done.
I would get an extra finger on each hand.
Yeah, that's not a
Okay,
bad one.
Really, I'm doing the forearms.
For
I always feel like in any shows and movies, that's always a cool character that can just like pull out two other arms.
Or in Mortal
Get
Kombat.
groceries all in one trip.
Yeah.
It's so useful. I feel like
It's
yeah.
like
that's percent.
Machamp, dude.
yeah, dude, exactly. It's like there's always something out there. I don't want to be that dude.
That's a pretty decent one, bro.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I guess I don't know what mine would be. Like mutation. Maybe like a different like skin color type thing. Like I have like a like
Okay.
green
like a
or-
Smurf, a little
It could-
Smurf dude.
you know? It could be like that.
Lord.
It could be like tie-dye pigmentation or something.
Oh my God, tie
don't
dye.
What would that do for
Just
you?
cow print. What are we
Sure.
You want to be like a chameleon?
Didn't you say you wanted to do something useful?
Yeah, I just like
That's a good
Yeah.
point.
I was just thinking about like the mutations in the show and
Oh,
like,
what about gills?
Okay, you know
I would,
that's
like,
a
breathe
great
underwater.
one. Yeah.
I would like to do that.
Yeah, wings,
and-
dude. What are we talking about? Wings or gills?
I think
Yeah.
that's gonna. I feel like that would feel weird. I
that would
considered it.
feel so weird.
This vault, do you guys remember too when they showed him that clip and the scientists were in that room and they like barricaded the door and there was that thing like pounding on it, the gold burr, the thing that looks like an axolotl, like the
Yeah.
big old
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So like that was one of their experiments. And like you can see like
Oh,
in
I
its
didn't know
mouth,
that.
bro. In
Yeah.
like the axolotl's mouth or whatever, it's like human fingers for like the
Oh, I remember that.
It's
that
creepy,
was
dog.
Oh.
so they're responsible for that too.
Oh, I'd be sick. So you could have like a cool little pet. That's just all
Ah.
freaking.
That's like also a human kind of. Yeah.
I don't think they're very little either.
I don't think I would like living in this vault. Let's be honest. Like randomly, maybe you get selected to get experimented on.
It's
So
like
you're
a
kind of
rehab.
hoping they find outsiders, right? You're like, yeah, experiment on the outsiders. Just kind of a weird thing, man. But I mean, it's good
Yeah.
that the vault is still running and they're able to like live with people from the outside.
Yeah, I think
That's
there's.
cool,
I
but-
think there's a lot worse vaults, but it's
Yeah.
not my favorite. Just for like it'd be. I don't know.
Well,
It'd
and let's be honest
interesting.
too. They sent him away with like many supplies.
Yeah.
So they
were
sent him
pretty
out there like
chill,
on
and they were
good
like,
terms.
"You gotta get out of here, bro." Also, here's to
Yeah,
make
they
sure
put her
y'all
in the
are
thing
alright."
just to like cut her out of it.
like not bad people. So it must be
Sick-
like pretty decent there.
Yeah. Well, not only
Alright.
that, but then I think they, in order to make the axolotl creature, I'm pretty sure they impregnated women to like birth the thing, and then the
Right.
thing ate them right after.
Yeah.
So it's like a really traumatic.
That's what I'm saying. What generation, man? You part of that generation of that vault? Yikes.
This one is in Fallout New California, which I think is like a side game.
Oh, I actually
It's an
played
expansion
that.
for Fallout the board game, bro. What? So the
Yeah.
disc came with the board game or something?
Sounds like fun. We should play that.
Yeah, go back to the old schools.
Dude, I think my boy
As
had
long as
that,
you don't
bro.
care about
For real?
graphics.
New California, that's so familiar to me.
It was a vault filled with water, built at the bottom of a lake, made not to house residents, but instead to record information on those who find their way inside. An experiment called the Levithian. Okay, so it sounds like this is an empty vault and they're waiting for people to go in
Ooh, the
order to experiment.
Leviathan.
Okay, and the vault is run by a robot called the Guardian, who confiscates contraband. Reaching a certain room will allow the intruder to complete the Leviathan and
Leviathan.
be released. Leviathan, my bad.
So they're gonna create a Leviathan? Is that what they're doing? That's interesting.
Complete the Leviathan?
So it's just a
'Cause, like-
robot in this vault that's underwater waiting for people to come in?
Yeah, because the Leviathan's like an underwater like creature.
Yeah, it's like
Oh,
a huge
interesting.
thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
huge. Vault 8? Literally, it's a control vault, no experiments. They literally leave in a century on schedule. It's a thing that goes off that opens the vault, and what opens the vault is basically saying that it's okay outside. So that triggers open a vault. Everyone goes outside, and they build this giant vault city.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah,
it's
yeah.
actually
Oh.
successful. Like they just build this, like
Oh,
they have
yeah.
all this really good tech, because they're actually given extra water chip supply from Vault 13. The government messed up and accidentally gave them extra water chip supply. So Vault 8's like decked out. So they progress really fast. So when they come out, they have insanely good tech and they build this Vault City, which is in Fallout 2. I played very little of Fallout 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, they basically like that's the one where I'm like, wait, Vault 8, not bad.
So honestly, pretty good one to be a part of.
That's cool.
I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, and I didn't even
Yeah.
look like super deep into the past of it, but apparently it's just like there's not really much to it. It's just Vault City.
So that's from Fallout 2.
Fallout
is it,
2.
Is it like canon? Is it canon?
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's Fallout
Still?
2.
What about Fallout 1?
Yeah,
So,
people
yeah,
say that
Fallout
the
1, I
first
would
two
say.
games are canon. One of the reasons I saw was because it explained like the NCR
Oh,
and
okay.
stuff. Like it explained things later in the game, so that's why they consider it canon.
Right.
Vault 11 in the Mojave Desert, Nevada. Social experiment studying a population's willingness to sacrifice individuals for safety of the majority using falsified threats of collective punishment. Inhabitants initially used elections to select sacrifices.
Yeah.
Attempt coup after the practice was abolished resulted in the death of most inhabitants. So basically, whoever was overseer could only be overseer for a year, and then they would get killed. And that kept happening and happening and happening to the point where people would like nominate you,
Yeah.
so you would get killed.
But if you were nominated to get killed, they also nominated you as the overseer.
Exactly.
Right.
So like
That's
you have a
interesting.
year to live at that point.
Yeah.
Right.
I do have a story on this one too.
What is it?
Do you know the story? Okay. The one with Catherine? I know the whole story with Catherine. Catherine becomes the overseer at some point through like this whole story essentially.
Okay, yeah, so it's like her husband.
Yeah.
She made like a sexual deal with one of like the guys
Mhm.
to make sure that her husband wasn't chosen to get killed.
Right. He just seems to
Despite
be
this
the overseer.
decision,
Right.
he still got chosen.
Yep.
And then she gets pissed and goes on a rampage, right?
Mm-hmm.
And kills like most of that party.
Yeah, because she kills most of the party. So then she's the overseer because now she's a killer.
Yeah.
So then she's the overseer.
And then when she was overseer, she instated a rule that like they were gonna get rid of the random, or no, they were gonna get rid of the choosing and make it be so the vault's computer
Randomly chooses.
chose them at random.
Yeah, the new overseer would be randomly chosen, which is interesting to think no other overseer was like, let's
Exactly.
just ban this, bro.
Yeah, they were like, you know what? We'll,
wanna
we'll die.
Yeah, so she literally just
Yeah, how
bans it.
how was she the first one to think outside the box like that?
I know.
Well, because like think about it, the first few generations were
Yeah.
so brainwashed and like they were
That was their whole life.
Yeah, they were gonna do what they were told.
What happens right after that?
Okay, so that decision led that political party to get fearful that they're gonna lose power and stuff, I
That's
believe.
right.
So
yeah.
then that party revolted,
Yeah.
leading to like a massive fight that
Mhm.
only left 5 members
people.
left.
Yeah.
4 of the 5 were like sad and depressed that everybody they knew just died, so they all offed themselves.
Yeah.
And so there was only 1 person left. Another interesting point too is so when it was the few people, they then made the decision to like stop with all the killing because at that point they realized this is insane.
Yep.
And at that point they got an automated message that said congratulations. Like basically everything you guys have been doing has just been an experiment and none of it has been necessary. And I think that's what caused the 4
And then
out of
that-
the 5
exactly.
people to kill themselves.
Mhm.
And then yeah, there was 1 left.
Wild. That one's gotta be like the most mind-boggling one.
That one
Could you imagine?
totally is, bro.
After all this time, they
Okay.
just didn't want you to even do what you were told to do.
And then just one
Just
more
being
thing.
lied to is crazy.
Yeah, no, that one's
And
such
results
an interesting
of
story,
death.
dude.
Yeah. And then it says by year 2281 the vault is empty and it's only occupied by the robot personnel. So who knows what happened to that one survivor, but they're not there now. But that is insane.
So I was saying, I was always interested in that story, how it says, the 4 out of 5 killed themselves and the one survived. We just don't know. We assume he left.
Yeah.
That's basically it. Which is like, that could be a cool point for a story.
Mm-hmm.
That could be a 6 series now, dude, on like what? The dude that got out or whatever. Which one are we on now?
I think
About
12.
Okay.
Oh, dude, I got to pee so
Set
bad,
us to
bro.
account. Go, let's do a break.
Yeah.
Right now.
Okay.
We're doing a break, cut.
We're going into the vault, mates. All right. Vault 12 was in Necropolis, New California. Okay? Bakersfield, California.
Okay.
Medical experiment studying the effects of gradual radiation exposure. Door was designed not to seal correctly, which is so evil.
That's the
so
one
eventually they turn into goals. Yeah, I remember reading on this one too, where that's an OG Fallout, which is cool. I've never actually got to experience that, but I do remember, reading up on that. I'm like, that's terrible. They just built the door with a malfunction, so slow radiation poisoning.
But luckily, it looks like there were some survivors, and the survivors made the surrounding area the city of Necropolis.
Yeah, they turned ghouls though.
Right. They're ghouls though. The ghouls made
So it's a ghoul
Necropolis.
city.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ghoul City.
Damn.
Yeah, so
Actually,
either
I
way,
mean-
all ghouls.
That's not a great
Which,
one.
I mean, at least, you know what? I give you that, because at least they turn it into something.
Yeah. And I mean, if you
Yeah.
think about it, homie from the TV series is a ghoul, so they're not that bad.
He's
Right.
terrible.
You might just, well,
He's a terrible person.
yeah, I mean, he did try to sell her organs, but besides that, he's a great guy.
Good guy. Besides all that.
Yeah. All right, guys. So now we are stumbling onto Vault 13.
Yep.
This vault is in, it looks like Fallout 1 and Fallout 2. It's a control vault. Again, this is our third control.
Right.
Inhabitants chose to remain in isolation until a water chip failure forced them to send the vault dweller for a replacement. Schism, Doc? What the Schism. Schism caused by the vault dweller resulted in many inhabitants leaving. Survivors were killed or kidnapped by the Enclave.
Not the Enclave.
That doesn't sound like a great control, man. I'm still rocking with that second control is like the best one where they made Vault City.
Yeah.
Right, like
Vault
this
8,
one.
Yeah.
We are not rocking with Vault 13.
Okay, and dude, why are all the control ones like having issues with their water chips?
Well, this is the one. 8 gets Vault 13's water chips. So 8 is super souped up with water chips, but
Right.
Vault 13 actually gets Vault 8's other Gek.
Okay.
So that's where they mess up.
Which one would you rather have?
Well, clearly
which one's more
number 8
important?
did pretty good. So I'll take the loss of a Gek and more water chips. So like I never run out of like good water.
Understandable.
Because they use their one Gek in Vault 8 to make Vault City. So it's like,
What's
I guess
Gek?
you don't even need 2.
What is it exactly?
Garden of
Yeah, I don't
Eden.
remember what it
It's like
stands
oh
for.
yeah, it's like the that thing.
Garden of
A
Eden
briefcase.
creation.
Yeah. So they only needed
Kit.
1.
So that's how like they magically create and terraformed.
Yeah, I think it was just like a source of like power or tech that they could utilize to power the city or something like that.
Because control vaults, I believe,
Creation
are supposed to have
kit.
this. Yeah.
Is a terraforming
know what?
device created by a future.
Yeah,
tech.
I think
There's
this
more.
is what they use, bro. This is what they're supposed to have once the doors finally open.
Exactly.
And then they use this to like.
And the reason that Vault 8 got to use it is because the doors actually opened on the correct time. So they had their Gex. So control vaults, I'm assuming, probably got the Gex. Because the experimental ones, they're like, just leave them in there. They ain't. Like,
I wonder if they gave them all one just to do it, or if
or
like
maybe
some
you're
don't.
right. I actually don't even know because maybe they're like, hey, if they make it out, like let them do their thing.
Social experiment in which a large population from diverse ethnic and religious backgrounds were forced to live together. Vault's opening was intentionally delayed by several decades. Schism among the inhabitants led to formation of 3 raider gangs from exiled inhabitants. Khans, jackals, and vipers. Remaining inhabitants formed Shady Sands.
Yeah, I read up into this one too. There's just so many diverse backgrounds that
Yeah.
people would decided just like screw this system, we're leaving.
It
So
is-
they formed all those raider clans.
And that's interesting to see because you see those clans in the game all the time, and I always wondered
Yeah.
like, what's the difference between different raider clans? Like,
Interesting. That's like a
they were vault dwellers.
yeah. That's pretty cool to see like the reference to all that. Like there's a lot of
Were they
references
all?
in the
I don't
game.
know if they were all. vault dwellers, were they?
The one, so
Well, I guess if they're not full of radiation, at one point their first ancestor must have been a vault.
the vault dwellers, that makes sense. That's a good point. Like the ones who started it are clearly the ones straight out the
Maybe it
vault.
was these guys right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
First ever.
17 looks lame, but I'll hit it real quick. It's in the West Coast. That's all we know.
Unknown.
Unknown, dude. Really.
It's called Ash
Inhabitants were kidnapped and transformed into super mutants by the Unity. That's it, and that's in New Vegas.
And that's not great.
That's really all we know. Not a good story. Do we need to know more? Probably just not great.
Vault 19, bro. This is in the Mojave Desert in Nevada. It was a social experiment studying the effects of factionalism and means to induce paranoia and mistrust. Inhabitants divided into rival blue and red sectors. Vault dwellers subjected to subliminal messaging and faked attacks of sabotage. Many developed symptoms of psychosis. Ultimate fate of inhabitants is unknown. Vault was eventually occupied by the Powder Gangers. So we don't really know what happened to them, but because they had like a two-party system, probably wasn't great.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if they were straight divided in a vault, that sounds really bad.
Like stuck together, like you have to be there.
Like straight division, yeah, in that scenario, not great.
But I
Because
guess
it's
you
something
have to
big.
pick a side, man.
Of
If you're in that
inhabitants.
scenario, you probably just
Yeah.
got to pick a side.
Yeah,
and
yeah, oh yeah, if you're
go
born
with
into
it.
that, you have to force it. Yeah, exactly. Vault was eventually occupied.
Did they get
Interesting.
psychosis because they were all paranoid with each other?
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
that's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Well, and then they were
That's
getting
very
subliminal
interesting.
messages and stuff. Probably
Oh.
from the vault saying to not trust each other. It's dangerous.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's supposed to be happening on purpose. I do remember that. Like, it literally says that to like throw people mad and see that's part of like the experiment. That's how they study the factionalism and stuff. Yeah, the
Well,
vault's designed to do that. It's crazy.
We're getting into some not great ones.
Yeah, no,
You know?
we're going.
It
back
was
to
fine
some-
for like a quick second there.
Well, it's because a lot of these are coming out of New Vegas, and New Vegas is just grim. A lot of these, bro. Like when you pull up on any in New Vegas, it's like yikes.
Las Vegas, Nevada. Social experiment studying the effects of excessive gambling. So it's the casino. All disputes were to be resolved through games of chance. Inhabitants maintained a stable community until 2274, when Robert House successfully won ownership of the vault in a game of blackjack and converted it into a hotel.
So I know-
this was like the first guy to like see Vegas and like do what Vegas was meant to be in a weird way. How did he even know?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Weirdo.
Yeah.
That's probably
Oh
some
wait,
interesting
isn't he like? Wasn't he like frozen?
Yeah, it's like only his brain that works and it's connected to like a TV.
Oh yeah.
When Mr. House was like revitalized or whatever you want to call it, he wanted to take control of the New Vegas Strip. And then this vault was there. So this vault made all of their decisions through gambling. So they were able to be successful for a long time because they solved all their problems through gambling, right? Like the winner, that's it. And then so Mr. House was like, okay, so what if we gamble for this vault? And if I win, I can open it up. And if I don't win, then it's just your guys's. And so they didn't really like this, but it did make some of the vault dwellers be like, we should open it up. So it split them up enough to where Mr. House convinced the party that wanted it to open up to play the other people blackjack, and they won, and then they gave control to Mr. House.
Okay. Dang, I'm glad you know some backstory.
Yeah.
To this. Word.
I thought it was very interesting how they made
Okay.
all their decisions through gambling.
yeah,
Like that was the means of decision making.
that is pretty interesting.
Anytime there's a problem, you're just like, all right,
Yeah.
let's play.
It's definitely captivating of like Las Vegas. That's pretty cool. It seems
Yeah.
like there should be a place like that. So
And
I'm
it
glad they hit on
probably
that.
allowed both sides to like win sometimes and stay happy. So that it wasn't always just one and they revolted, right? Because this vault's been around for
Well,
a
because
little
they
bit.
feel like it's a game of chance instead
No,
of like
but
people are
in a
deciding this
casino,
first.
it's rigged.
Right.
But I wonder what games. It depend on the games they're playing. I guess they don't have machines, so they're probably doing card games, right? Like poker, blackjack.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
So it's blackjack.
Oh yeah. So I guess it was blackjack. There's another thing about this one too. So when
Interesting.
Mr. House did get ownership, he started to fill it with concrete. But then one of the vault dwellers convinced him to instead turn it into a hotel so that he could still get profits from it, but then they could still keep part of it open. So then that's what they ended up doing.
Who was that? Just like that one person was like,
Yeah,
hey,
it
man.
was one chick that was like, I think we shouldn't completely
Okay.
fill this. Let's like turn it into a hotel and like. So I think she wanted to preserve the vault, and then he wanted to make profits. So those two intentions worked
Yeah.
well together.
All right, we out here in the Mojave Desert, Nevada, the Mojave Wasteland. Research facility studying and creating genetically modified crops and flora. Genetically modified fungal infection transformed inhabitants into spore carriers. Ugh,
I remember this one.
Yeah.
that sucks, dude.
It's nasty.
What I remember from this
I
one is
don't
that
like
they
that one.
were doing experiments like that, and then one of them just got out of control.
Mhm.
And then that's when it spread to the whole vault, and it turned them into like spore carriers and stuff.
Yeah, dude. Nope, that's one of my least favorite. Rather than just take your boy out. Like,
Yeah.
the other ones, I don't want to be.
And that would kind of
Nope.
suck to get turned into, because
Yeah,
You're
it
just
sounds
the host.
painful.
yeah.
It sounds so painful.
So
Yeah.
like, are you
Don't
aware of
want-
what's happening, but you just can't do anything?
Yeah.
They probably had no idea.
And creating genetically that sucks, man. You're like growing crops your first time. You're like, oh my god, we just grew some corn, bro. That corn,
Bro, and think
you're
about it.
screwed immediately.
Dude, in any
Yo,
of
you
these,
grew some flowers for your grandma, bro. The flora, this is terrible. I don't like that one, dude. That
and
might
it's
be my
not in great
least favorite.
settings. You can't go anywhere, so you're just stuck.
Yeah. And you just eat, you just trying to like what you have to eat too, bro. Oh man, that's terrible. Bro.
Yeah.
And you turn into that, dude.
Yikes.
Dude, not good.
Yeah, you're just a host. You turn into a little like golem looking nature.
You just grew
type
some
of-
wheat, man. You went and made your grandma some bread. She eats the bread. She turns into that. Bro. I don't like this place.
Vault 27 comes from the Fallout Bible.
Okay,
Excuse me.
interesting. I haven't even heard of that.
Doesn't look like it has a location yet. But what we do know about it is that it was deliberately overcrowded. So they put 2,000 people in this vault, which is double the usual sustainable amount. So I guess a usual vault's capacity is 1,000, and this one they doubled up. So obviously things are going to run out. People are going to fight. There's going to be crazy things that happen. I don't really see a positive future for these people unless they like started, farming or something like double time.
Right.
What do you guys think?
Well, that's
Because that's all the details we got.
Well, all we have to do is speculate at this point because
Yeah.
they have no additional.
There's no
details.
details. So
I would.
how is
I
it
would.
the
Okay.
Fallout Bible with
Let's
no
see.
details?
We'll go one at a time to see
Okay.
what you guys
Okay, I like that. Yeah.
think would have happened.
All right.
You want to go?
Yeah, I can go.
Go for
Okay,
it.
so 2,000 people, overcrowded. Obviously, you're gonna run out of resources. I think that they try to get this open as soon as possible.
Yeah.
I actually think this does eventually get open pretty quickly, and I don't know what happens after that because that's a lot of freaking people.
Mhm.
But I think that's the main goal, and I think a lot of people die. I think at some point, people start dying of starvation, and I think it happens really quick, maybe even before that. People are like, it's just overcrowded. We got to get out of here, bro. So people
Yep.
immediately, there's a war immediately.
Totally.
People try to kill each other to get out. And I think it gets open eventually. And who knows what happens at that point. If it's early on, all these people are probably screwed.
Yeah.
So I think probably everybody dies or is turned into ghouls.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
I don't know. I'll think optimistic. Like maybe with like 2,000 people, they figured out and I don't know, like made a way to stay alive.
Uh-huh.
They just put their heads together, maybe with like
Okay.
I don't know, like to grow crops or something.
Yeah,
'Cause
they
there's,
just,
That's,
like-
yeah.
I don't know. There's vaults out there.
They're out there.
They're out there.
Yeah.
That like grow vegetation and like their food. So I don't know. Maybe they figured it out.
Okay.
Because
possible.
it's either that or that.
Yeah. So yeah, I definitely see where both you guys are coming from. I do agree that they're gonna try to open the doors as soon as they can, but there could be some funky thing where the overseer has to make that decision, right?
Mhm.
So if the overseer doesn't agree, it could lead to like a kind of a cannibalistic situation. to where like there's all these people, they don't have enough resources, but they could use some of the people as resources. The question is, where does that stop? And like, what does that do to people's minds in the process? But that could be a possibility. You know, they just end up eating each other until like a few crazier left.
Yeah. I think that is a possibility too. I like that one. Because
they're going to have to room
That
up
one
right
seems
away
very
too.
Fallout.
if they have them really trapped in there too and they really can't get out, or if they're just like, we're going to die if we go out
Yeah.
and everyone really decides to stay there, I think it turns
Last resort.
cannibalistic, dude.
People have
There's
done
nothing
it
else.
before when they're in dire situations.
It would have to be if it's overcrowded.
Yeah.
Dang.
I like yours.
Yeah, that's a good one.
We are approaching Vault 31, Vault 32, and Vault 33 that were in the first season of the TV series. So we'll start with Vault 31, which is in LA. It was a social experiment consisting of 3 interconnected but divided vaults. It's still functional as of the year 2297, with many Vault Tech employees still cryogenically preserved, watched over by Bud Askins.
But Askins.
It's almost like Atkins, like the Atkins diet.
Our original population found out the truth about Vault 31, revolted, and ultimately died in fighting, suicide, and or starvation, circa 2294, briefly taken over by Lee Moldover's raiders in order to infiltrate Vault 33, and later resettled by dwellers from Vault 33 and 2297 on Bud Askins' orders.
Okay, I don't remember like a whole lot about this one. Was this the one where like the boy walked in and it was like a bunch of like dead crops and like dead people?
So yeah, remember in the show they get attacked by a bunch of raiders
Yeah, yeah,
led by Moldover.
yeah. Because they let the guy in to marry into like the
Yeah.
whatever.
But yeah, like they just got attacked by the by the raiders.
And it does say too that vaults 32 and 33 housed regular populations, while 31 housed cryogenically preserved vault tech.
Remains functional as of 2297 and still following Bud Askins' directives.
So yeah, still the brain homie is under control until we see what happens. Do you guys remember where it left off in the first season? Because there were, obviously a lot of people doing things on the outside, but where did it leave off in the inside? Do you guys remember?
In the vault? What were
Yeah,
they
in the
doing?
vault.
Yeah, what were they doing?
Do they even get into?
I don't think
They're
they
not
like
there?
really revisit it. I think
I
they're
don't think
just
so either.
they're just in there living still. And
Didn't
she's
it
just-
end with like
Yeah.
the overseer of that vault being suspicious of the young guy? Wasn't she kind of questioning him, like, where were you?
Mhm.
Did
oh
you
yeah,
travel
the
to
brother. Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird. It was
That's
weird with the little
really the
brother.
last thing I remember. This one is in the Mojave Desert, Nevada. Yeah, I guess it's pretty obvious a lot of the New Vegas ones are going to be in Nevada,
Yes, sir.
but there are a lot,
That
dude.
does make sense.
And this was a social experiment in which the vault dwellers were provided access to an overstocked armory with no security measures. So basically unlimited access to whatever guns they had, which is a little cray-cray. Inhabitants manually installed locks on the armory and restricted access to the vault security. Schism, our favorite word, over these measures led a group to leave and form the Boomers tribe. And if you guys remember in New Vegas, the Boomers tribe is the one that has like those crazy bombs, artillery, and they have like a perimeter around their place that like people just can't get to.
Mm-hmm.
So they were originally vault dwellers. And a reactor leak caused by a civil uprising led to the death or ghoulification of most inhabitants. So it seems like the Boomers got out okay, and then yeah, the rest of the people didn't go great for them. I do remember with this one, it was like the overseer wanted to make a new rule to where they like locked up the armory because he saw them being so obsessed with guns. It led to
Right.
like a gun-centric culture inside of the vault.
Yeah.
And the overseer
Weird.
started to get scared of that, so he put a ban on it. But that led to these people getting mad, which led to, I believe, the Boomers leaving and the other group kind of
So were they able to shoot?
dying.
You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like a range? Did they know even how it felt to shoot a gun? Were they shooting often?
I don't know if they were
You
shooting
know?
often, but they definitely recalled the knowledge because in the the Boomers found Nellis Air Force Base, and that's where they set up camp. So maybe they had access to their weaponry and then learned how to use it. But either way, they were like pretty familiar with weaponry.
It sounds like Albuquerque.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why we're just like, nah, used to that.
Yeah.
The death or
Really,
vilification
It would be funny if this was one of the ones in Mexico.
of inhabitants.
Oh,
Yeah, it's real. Vault 36 food extruders were designed to produce only a thin, watery gruel.
Bro.
What is gruel?
Gruel? Bro, that's
like
just...
that's like food, kind of like the nasty
Like,
stuff
nah.
you see movies where it's just like a soup
Oh.
and you just like eat it with a fucking wooden spoon or
So,
whatever.
so that's whack. Let's go to the next one. I think the next one's whack too. Vault 42. No light bulbs of more than 40 watts were provided.
And that's not good because being in a vault, you're missing out on sunlight.
Both of
and you
those are
need
just-
sunlight.
Both of those
Oh.
are just trash, bro.
Very trash.
40.
But you, gosh, I mean, what?
Okay, so
You might do better in 36
I think you would do better in 36 because it said the food extractors or whatever. So like
if you get the.
it's
Ew.
probably like a blend of like proteins.
I was gonna
and
say if
stuff.
you get the macros, then you're
Right?
probably all right.
Like it's
If you hit your daily value.
But yeah, I feel like
But-
people in Vault 42 would suffer a lot more probably.
Oh yeah, dude. I think after a while you probably get used to the watery girl. You're just like that's just
Watery
like your
girl.
It's just like,
Food.
ooh, dude, come up with a good name
drink
at
of
least.
the day.
Call it like Vault Jambalaya or something.
Yeah. But the watts, oh dude, no lights. That would be terrible.
Yeah.
Everyone would probably
Lights out.
just go blind eventually.
Okay, but
like,
how
through
much is 40
generations.
watts?
I don't know.
Not a
Very
lot.
little
Like what's
bit,
the average? That's
probably.
probably just
Damn.
an average one, right? Like average light.
I think that an
Probably lower.
average like is usually 60, like or more.
Andrew Huberman would just not approve. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, okay.
He'd be like, "Where's your
You
sunlight?"
need at least 60. Dude, as long as you grow in mandarin oranges, you good, bro. Oh, I saw this. This was off of a comic, 43. I'm supposed to do 43, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
The social experiment in which 20 men and 10 women were forced to live alongside a live panther. And the video I showed had nothing, that I watched had nothing on it.
Yeah, a lot of
It was
these
just
don't have
like-
more info.
It was just like no clue. Even the video I watched, it was just like, yeah, there's 20 dudes and 10 women and a panther. This one's so weird though, because there's like so many scenarios that could happen. Like for sure, 20 dudes are killing a panther.
Okay, I have a question though.
No.
Okay, but what about this? That's the only different creature in the vault. Do they start seeing the panther as their god and taking care of it like religiously?
Do you know how much food a panther eats? How does that happen?
No,
Where are they getting the food?
Dude, 30 people are for sure killing a panther though.
The panther is probably malnourished.
And for sure, like
You could beat it up for sure.
Yeah.
Well,
Like that many people are for sure taking a panther.
yeah.
So I think like in that scenario,
That
the panther's
panther.
done, and then now is it just like 15 dudes and 10 chicks and it's chill?
Maybe like some
Or am I so wrong?
Oh no, well I was gonna
Correction.
talk about the gender ratio issue. So
yeah.
part of like one of the guesses of what the experiment is how a highly imbalanced gender ratio would impact social dynamics.
Right.
So like all of them trying to decide
Yeah.
what they're gonna do with the panther. So they're like the experiment would be about like how they decide what to do with the panther.
I mean, I have
Send the
a-
women.
Okay.
I have a situation that might work.
Because what ratio? Yeah, okay, what?
The guys that are willing to fight the panther, you send them in.
And they die.
Some of them die, some of them might live. The guys that live are going to be the ones that attract probably most of the mates. And then the guys that die, that's good because you bring down the male ratio and now you have more compatibility. So you get rid of the panther problem.
That's
you get
what
rid
I'm
of
thinking.
the
Yeah.
male to
What
female
if
ratio.
the
That's what I'm
panther's
thinking
not even a
likely
problem?
happens.
What if the panther's cool?
Dude, they might like the panther, but like it's not going to be in its natural environment,
You
bro.
know, that's a great point. It was being really positive here. I know Fallout's dark and grim, but yeah. What if Panther's honestly just not that bad and you could just tame them and it's like, all right, everything's cool. And now you're in that
Yeah.
dynamic where there's 20 dudes and 10 women.
It's gonna be like
And you
those
gotta vault
TV
that.
shows.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Ayo.
Those Love Islands or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, you see how they have hidden cameras? They put together a TV
Yeah.
show.
Dang,
1,000 years in the making. Or whatever. In this one, the Zax AI supercomputer, it would test the vault dwellers in order to determine who was best fit for the overseer role. But the person that programmed this AI, he said that a leader is someone who steps up in a time of crisis. So what the AI started doing was creating scenarios of crisis because it misunderstood in order to see which vault dweller would be most fit.
Okay, yeah.
And a couple of the things that it did is it engineered a food shortage, it rigged casino games, it activated vault alarms while dwellers were asleep, it switched their coffee with decaf, it manipulated them to cheat on their significant others.
Dude.
So, yeah, dude. So the AI was starting to do all of these scenarios. So they were probably going crazy,
Dude.
not knowing what was going on.
Okay, yeah.
And these events, unfortunately, manipulated the remaining inhabitants to turn against each other, leading to only one inhabitant alive. His name was Reuben. And because he was the only one alive, he was named Overseer. So this
Reuben!
AI, because there's only one person left, this AI finally has like an overseer.
Oh.
So then I'm
Reuben's
guessing
the
that those
overseer.
crazy experiments stopped because now he's the only one alive in the whole vault.
Okay, Ruben.
And this changed when this guy found out about the opening of Vault 76. He was looking for a way to escape, and he went into the storage, like, computer or whatever, and hacked it, put himself in a container so that he wouldn't be noticed as he left the vault by, like, the AI, I'm guessing. So he left, and his goal was to go to Vault 76, find somebody to potentially help him to destroy the AI, is what I understand, but he never made it back.
What?
So that's the story of that
That
one.
could be another.
Crazy.
Oh man, that's cool. Oh, because that's in 76, huh? That is interesting.
And isn't it crazy how in depth they get? I think this is why people enjoy the
Yeah,
lore,
dude.
bro, because it's literally like its own universe.
Dude, can we just say too? Fuck that guy that fucking said that to that Zach's AI.
Yeah.
Dude. The
And
guy
it
that started all that shit. Fuck that dude. I know
Yeah.
he was trying to be good, but like, nah.
All right, so most of the equipment in Vault 53 was designed to break down every few months. While repairable, the breakdowns were intended to stress the inhabitants unduly.
Man, that's like real life. Everything we buy is
Getting
like
tested,
designed
bro.
to break.
Okay, I have a
That's
question
just
for
real
you guys.
life, bro.
Do you think that it made them stronger in order to like
I
fix
think
these
it's
things,
made me
or did it cause
stronger.
them to go crazy? Like, did
Stronger.
they take? Yeah,
Yeah,
I think so too. Probably.
100% more efficient with like how they use shit too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
To the point where that when they do get out, they already know so many more skills because they've had things go wrong.
yeah, that's probably one that'll
Yeah.
really set you up for success without even like
Yes.
telling you about it.
Yeah, that
Dude,
one's See,
It's like when you
something
prepare
that.
them for adversity. Same with little kids.
Yeah.
It's like they just end up in a better spot
Yeah.
instead of being pampered and like,
Giving
damn, you're in the
them-
wasteland and there's death claws.
Okay.
Giving them everything that they need instead of having them try to figure it out a little bit on their own.
Dude,
It's kind of cool, and they said
shout
that
out, yeah.
that everything was repairable. So I'm just gonna say this one would not be too bad to be a part of.
No, dude,
because
shout
If
out
it
to
was
the
just like
fixed.
Yeah,
shut
I
down
like
after
this
shut
one.
down, shut down,
Yeah.
shut down.
Depends.
You die.
If you're like, what the fuck is it today?
Yeah, but then, bro, okay. Also think
What's
about
the
it.
water?
Bro, that would give you a purpose in the vault because I'm
They
sure
could,
that
though,
vault
true.
dwellers have like a loss
Yeah,
of
there you
purpose a lot of
go.
the times,
Nah, there
and this
you
would be
go.
like, this is how we survive. So that would
Yeah.
be like your
Right.
goal, and you'd be driven
Right.
and ready to.
That's
like,
where
fix
I'm
stuff.
gonna be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, exactly. Because if it is just like not that bad, but if it's like back to back, like 60 days of like something very important
Right.
not working, it's
Right.
like, whoa, dude, come on, bro. Something else needs to break down because this
For
is some
real.
bullshit.
So they had no entertainment tapes. So they had like nothing to do.
That would suck. I mean, more community. Less
But is
culture.
that it?
It's
Did they
just
have
tapes,
anything
though,
else?
bro. That's not that
Did
bad.
they have everything else?
Yeah, I mean,
You know, it's probably better for them.
But if you think about
Yeah.
entertainment tapes, bro, that covers music and everything. So then they would lose.
it just says entertainment though. There is educational
music,
tapes,
I
right?
would-
Does
I
it
would-
hit in that though?
I would.
Is
I
that why it
would.
specifically says no entertainment tapes?
I would say.
Yeah, because if there's educational shit,
Hopefully,
so you're just a fucking
see,
unit.
you would be
Just a
fine,
robot or something.
but you would just be unaware of the culture that was going on before you. Like you would not know like what humans were like or what they were creating if you were like
Right.
born in the vault.
Which is probably not that bad because I feel like all of them have this expectation and they go outside
Yeah.
and they're like, nah,
That's true. What
this
if you're
ain't
watching
it,
movies
bruh.
about California and then you go out there and you're like, well, not at all like that.
That's not California.
Yeah, if it was just straight
So-
up like, hey, you better be ready, bro. It's
Yeah.
like, all right. It's like shit fucked up out there.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, well, that's cool.
The only entertainment tapes provided were the works of particularly untalented comedian.
Bro.
Oh my god, that actually changes the scenario so much, bro.
Okay, so yeah, now you have
That
tapes, but they're all
changes
just bad.
everything.
Vault
They all
Society
just
was
suck.
anticipated to collapse as far earlier than Vault 55. So like they expected
Yeah.
them to collapse because of the terrible content that they had to watch.
So that's just whoever designed these vaults was some rich dude that was like, I
Yeah.
hate terrible
A
comedians.
movie guy. A movie
Okay, do you
guy.
guys think that they continue to laugh at it because of how bad it is, or are they exposed to this for so long that everybody in there finds that to be funny and that becomes their sense of
That's
humor?
what I'm thinking.
Because they're like,
'Cause
this
they
is
don't
the
know
only
anything
thing we
else.
have. This has to be funny.
That's actually a great freaking point, dude.
But it says anticipated to collapse, so we don't even know if it did or not.
Yeah,
Just says
that's all we know.
anticipated.
They just like he would assume probably because he was like a movie buff or like director.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it
whatever.
becomes the best movie
Yeah.
ever, bro. Like you're somewhere and like just it's basically like being somewhere in like a third world country or somewhere where you only have access to a few tapes. Those are probably the most banger tapes. Who wants to hit that?
But yeah, those previous two, interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very
kind of funny.
interesting.
Like,
Yeah, honestly, pretty funny.
that is sense of
experiment,
humor.
dude.
It's better than like turning everybody into a mutant and like doing DNA experimentation. It's a little more on the light side of things.
Yeah, good point.
Okay, I could do this one. So this one's in West Virginia. Built as the personal project of Vault-Tec board member Hugo Stolz. Not intended as a social experiment, but rather a facility to develop technologies that could be used to establish a post-war society, including weather manipulation,
Off
a
bat.
large-scale robotics connected to above-ground facilities, along with underground rail system.
Okay, so this wasn't like an evil intent experiment. It was more of like a facility to be able to like rehabilitate.
Hey, like, yeah, like we're giving you the resources to try to figure it out post-war.
But check this, bro.
Yeah, I gotta go on the next
The vault
part.
was unfinished, causing dwellers to mutate into ghouls, with some going feral. So it was unfinished when the bombs
Oh.
dropped. So like all the equipment is still there, but all the people aren't able to
Oh,
use it.
wow.
I'm guessing,
Yeah.
unless they're smart.
Research
ghouls.
intended to cure fertilization ended up damaging the vault, creating a massive storm over Shenandoah,
Shenandoah.
a mutating
Love that
man,
place.
a mutating many way of the ghoul dwellers into the lost. Vault is still active among ghoulified survivors. Oh man, they still got the. Oh dude, imagine being able to be a ghoul survivor in the game.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
you're
cool.
immortal, bro. And it looks like with the
Mhm.
cowboy guy, you were able to keep emotions and thoughts and stuff.
That's what I'm
so
saying, dude.
but
Being a goal, not too
then
bad.
you live forever, so, right?
you gotta keep doing drugs.
Yeah,
just
you have
gotta
to keep doing
drugs
the-
forever to live.
But then if you do too much, it turns you feral, right? Was that the thing, or was it?
No, no,
don't
if you
get
don't.
enough?
If you
If you
don't get
don't.
enough.
Oh, that's what it was. So you always have to have a supply.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, that would be stressful.
just have
It's
to
like
have a good
having
plug.
asthma or diabetes.
Yeah.
You always have to have that thing on you.
On you. One of the 1,000 people who entered there was only one woman.
68 was a disaster.
68, not great. There's probably a thing where like I mean,
These are gonna be. I don't know though, man. These are gonna be very interesting.
so it probably okay. So yeah, the one where it's like one woman and the rest men, that is a little scary.
That sucks. The next one,
fucked
a
in that
lot
one.
of babies were made.
Vault 69, one man
That
and
that one.
999 women.
Yeah, that one's a lot better than 68 because you're just screwed in 68. That
Yeah,
one
you
woman
are
can
screwed.
like only birth so many kids through her lifetime, and then like I don't know
Well,
how
and
that
bro,
one really works.
the rest
out.
of your vault
That
population,
even
it's going to be incest.
You gotta, and then
Yeah,
you rely on one.
and
Like it's
Immediately.
going to have to be.
Yeah, so I'm
you're gonna
saying
have, like,
immediately
mutations.
generation 2 and then 3, it just gets fucked.
Yeah.
But in the other
But
one, that
same,
won't happen, right?
same in the other one.
Same another one.
But I think it lasts longer.
yeah.
No, because like
I don't know.
the one man would be able to impregnate a bunch of women.
Yeah, but okay, how would that be, right? Because you have to think about this from all angles, bro. Like, do you get one crazy woman that gets jealous and then ends up killing the guy and some
I don't
chicks,
know.
so then every breeding is not possible?
That's a possibility.
Or in the
But-
guy's choice where he's like,
Because I could
if
be
I can't have
either
her,
way.
then no one can.
Either way, if someone kills that one other person too
screwed.
early, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time I talk, my voice isn't ready. Sorry. Okay. I remember with these ones, they said that there was like hierarchy issues. So like the people that got to breed were like of a higher status.
Right.
And
that's
it
a
like
great
became like this like social hierarchy like with the women and the men, but they just handled it differently.
That's actually very interesting because it's like
What a
because you're
sitch.
like, hey, I want my my generation to go on or my whatever offspring to go on. It's like, nah, you ain't part of the royal fam, my boy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like people that were like considered to have like undesirable traits to pass on just got like left in the dust.
I would hope that there'd be like a lot of like gay people in either. Because then they could still have fun with their lives. But they wouldn't be like caught up in all the drama. They'd be like, we're good, we're chilling,
Just
we're
the
here.
rest is just
Yeah,
a
they're just, like,
massive
watching from
orgy.
the outside.
Yeah. That would definitely happen at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, those are extremely interesting. And like, I think that's like probably every guy's dream is to be in Vault 69.
And then Vault 68 is like every
Everyone's
woman's nightmare.
nightmare.
She like constantly has to be pregnant.
Well, we made it 69.
We made it
Is
69.
Is it break time?
Yeah, let's take a quick break and then come back and knock the rest out, dude.
All right, I need to do some jumping jacks.
Yeah.
He was
Give me that letter too,
he was swimming with the fish.
I'm swimming with the fish. Has anybody ever told you you look like Beyonce?
Extruders would fall after 6 months, drastically reducing clothing availability. I'm overall confused about that entire sentence. What does that mean, dude?
You know what? Me too, man.
All right, hard restart, dude. Hard
I
restart.
might need to like take English.
Okay.
It's not clicking.
All right, guys, so Vault 70. Vault 70, bro. Vault 70 was a social experiment which jumpsuit extruders would fail after 6 months, drastically reducing clothing availability. So that's a little wild.
Yeah, man.
A lot of...
So it's just a nudist colony.
So, dude, this guy, he was in there. He didn't know that he was going to be there alone until the doors closed. So then he was there with just like puppets, really. So over a period of time, he became pretty insane and started talking to the puppets. He thought they had like personalities and stuff. And then one day, he found his king puppet murdered. And he blamed the Vault Boy. So then the Vault Boy puppet told him, nah, man, we both had something to do with this. And then so he got convinced to leave the vault because he thought that the other puppets were going to find out about this like killing. So he left the vault. He ran into a lot of like different creatures on his travels. And eventually he came across a group of, I think it was like raiders or wastelanders. And they took him captive. And he ended up going loco coco and killing them. He left one survivor. That one survivor took him to the rest of the group. He also killed that entire group. He's probably, you know, the first Fallout serial killer, bro.
Yeah, the puppet dude.
Yeah, the puppet man, dude.
All right, we talking about Vault 84. Every year, a vote is held to exile a dweller deemed the most dangerous to the vault. Honestly, okay.
It's a step above the like sacrifice. Like at least you just get banished and you have a chance of survival instead of just getting sacrificed, right?
Yeah, I mean, it says the vault maintained a stable society and remains inhabited. So I guess it worked out.
man.
That's nice.
That's cool.
One of those rare ones.
I was going to say
Is that the first one or the second one that we've encountered that actually works?
second one, I think, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think second or third.
Dang, out of 84, bro.
It says it went well, which is cool, but I was wondering, like, what if the early on, how would you determine if everyone's just chilling
Yeah.
there?
Someone threatens you one time and then you tell
And
everyone.
that's how you
Yeah, but
determine.
you know
right.
what,
It
dude?
probably would be off some like simple shit off
But
rip.
it would incentivize people to be model citizens. Because if you have one troublemaker, obviously that's going to be the majority vote off.
What if everyone
That's
is
weird.
model
So that would be like the
citizens?
police.
And that's a weird
but
dynamic.
then you have to pick the least, man. There has to be one day where someone like spits something on the ground or like.
Yeah, it's like that would be scary though. That means
Yeah.
if you fuck up at any little
Yeah.
thing, you're done.
I don't like that.
They're all this fool
That's
ran into me
weird.
into the hallway. He done.
They're like the mafia.
That's the one fuck up this week. That's the exile.
Vault 100, location unknown, purpose unknown, but it was supposed to be in Fallout 3. And the vault was cut during development of the game. Only an unsaved inventory icon for the jumpsuit remains in the game files. So that's the only way that people even know that this thing exists.
Oh well.
Vault a hundo. That's crazy.
100. But that's a good number. I mean, it's kind of good they left it a little mysterious.
That's cool. I like that. Yeah, that they did leave it mysterious.
You can't take all the good numbers right away.
So maybe they will be able to use like the ones that
That's what I'm
weren't
saying.
used one day.
Yeah.
I feel like they always
Yeah.
leave themselves room to use some
And
of
to
these.
have like more games,
Because
TV
100, I feel like
series.
that's pretty cool. Like,
Yeah.
it could be something pretty unique. 100 people or
100 Panthers, one person.
Oh my god.
They put all the Panthers in the dorm rooms and the guys just in the kitchen, and it's like, brother, when you open the doors, it's game time.
Vault 109, a high-class fancy vault filled with products from Mary Kay, Ticknor and Fields, and Fallon's. Inhabitants initially maintained trade with Vault 84, but died after the facility became flooded with radiation. So, like probably more than half of the vaults did not even get past the bomb.
To do all of that and then just have radiation come in anyways, it's like, wow, what a time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you died in Gucci.
You were in
It's
Gucci.
literally so dumb.
I said
Yeah,
Mary
man.
Kay. It's
That'd be
Mary, man.
terrible. I would hate to be in that vault.
No location, no description, but it was supposed to be in Fallout 4, I guess. Vault was cut during development. Only an extra unused texture of its welcome sun remains in game files.
I'm sick of seeing these unfinished vaults, dude.
Okay, are these just all cut? That's what it's looking at. 117 Massachusetts, the Commonwealth vault was cut during development in early map. Yeah.
I just want to double check, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, where's the other list?
What
That's
other list
it.
do you speak
Is
on?
that it? Where's
That's
like
it
where's
right there,
3,
that's the
4,
rest.
5, and all those?
Damn, so we've been going down the non-canons?
Yeah, where's 3, 4, 5, and all those? That's what I'm saying.
Okay. 76.
No way. We skipped some?
Okay, we got this one. Test subjects.
No way, we're all the way back in 75, son.
That's what I'm saying. We didn't go from 69 over to this list.
Because
This list wasn't even...
they split them up all weird. They put like non-canon, this and that. So I went to a page and I thought it was that one.
What?
But that means that
Okay.
we've covered like all of the other ones. So all we have to do is now go down this.
Uh-huh.
Whatever. It's not that many. It's not that many. Trust me. I'll start us off.
Part 2.
We just have to go down this.
Yeah.
Scroll.
Easy,
scroll,
bro.
Scroll.
I've never seen
scroll.
anything easier in my life.
Okay, I
Bro.
like that attitude.
Basically, this was an experiment where they did a eugenics program on young vault dwellers to make them into perfect soldiers. Test subjects eventually revolted against the researchers. The vault was eventually occupied by gunners. So not a successful vault,
Oh, yeah.
Um,
That's cool.
but it is at least good that they were trying to make them into perfect soldiers just to survive in the outside. Vault 76, like I was saying, obviously from the Fallout 76 game. It's north of Flatwoods in West Virginia. This is another control vault. I don't know if we've been keeping tabs, but I'm pretty sure this is like 4 or 5.
Yeah,
at
there
this
haven't been
point.
that many, I don't feel like.
No. And the vault dwellers became instrumental in the reconstruction of Appalachia and the eradication of the scorched plague.
Why is Appalachia's a funny fucking word, dude? Appalachia.
Appalachia.
Some
Appalachia.
ginseng. Let me get that ginseng.
Appalachia.
Appalachia.
No,
Is that how I think that's
No.
tomato type
I
shit.
don't, no, I'm 100% sure.
My family's from the Appalachian Mountains.
Uh-oh.
We're out there, buddy. Let me tell you something right now, buddy. We got ginseng in our blood.
It seems like this one went okay, because they were able to help out in the reconstruction of the Appalachia. So it seems like it went all right. I think this one right here, guys, might be another success story.
Another success story.
It's another success story,
That's incredible.
which is great. We're gonna count the small wins because they don't happen often. With
Man,
these
they're
vaults.
biased.
100%.
They're biased because it's 76. North of Dolly Sod's Wilderness, West Virginia, Secret Service facility intended to house the United States gold reserves.
Whoa.
Important people. Reactor leaked, killed, or gullified most agents assigned to the vault. Survivors were rescued by the residents of Vault 76 during an attempt heist of the gold reserves.
It would be nice, I guess, living in one of those because you'd be like, okay, they for sure care about this vault, so they'll probably take care of us. But I mean,
dang.
yeah, but it would suck in the way that people are always trying to steal your stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vault 81. This is in Boston, Massachusetts, the Commonwealth. It was a research facility. Scientists in a secret sector of the vault would work to develop a universal disease cure via experiments on an unwilling civilian population. I do remember reading a little bit about this one. So basically, the scientists had their own secret sector of the vault, like it says, where the other people didn't know about it. So they were secretly just being experimented on all the time. Operations were sabotaged by the overseer due to moral objections. Researchers were sealed within their sector of the vault with no means of escape or contact. So basically, when the bombs dropped and the doors sealed, the overseer had I don't know if it's a change of heart or if he always felt like this, but he's like, I don't think we should be doing all these experiments. So he basically locked the researchers in their secret section of the vault, and they died. And yeah, dude, that's pretty much it for that one, I think.
Okay. Interesting.
Oh yeah.
Definitely been in there.
So yeah, they eventually perished. The civilian section of the vault maintained a stable community and remains inhabited. So I think this was one that was intended to be evil, but thankfully, because of the overseer, it was actually a successful vault, and the experiment didn't happen. So shout out to that overseer, man.
Are we on 87 now?
87.
All right, 87 is northeastern Virginia, Capital Wasteland. Research facility studying the effects of the forced evolutionary virus on humans, civilian population was used as test subjects. The inhabitants were transformed into super mutants and seized control of their vault.
They didn't think that far ahead, huh?
No, sir.
Nope, that one didn't.
They're like, yeah, we'll experiment and turn everybody into a super mutant, and that should be fine.
So that's
be
where
alright.
it all started.
I think that's where one of them,
Because I thought I saw
group
another
of
one
mutants
too.
started,
where it
right?
said they turned them into
Like,
super
how is
mutants.
it happening that they're all doing the same thing and that they're getting the same result with super mutants?
Wait,
So some-
maybe look over the forced evolutionary virus. Is that what turns? Why does that? That's
Yeah.
what turns people into it. But is
Yeah.
it FEV or virus created by West Tech?
Yeah, that's what makes you
Yeah.
like it evolves you.
So I guess I got them in a couple. Because there's another one too that I swear they just said just turn them into super mutants and that was it.
Well, these are non-canon or whatever.
No, these are canon now.
Oh, these are.
These are
Okay.
canon.
Yeah.
So yeah, guys, we ended up on a page of this website that we're using, falloutfandom.com. Thank you for your resources. And they have a lot of vaults on different pages, and one of the pages we ended up on was the non-canon page. So we went through a couple of those, and then we found ourselves here. Vault 88, northwest of Quincy. This was a testing facility for experimental productivity boosting equipment to be used in other vaults. Okay, so this vault was like made to be an aid to other vaults. It wasn't like a thing in itself, it seems like. The vault's construction was never completed. Okay, so it's like all of the vaults that they're making to help are like not complete. Overseer Valerie Barstow became a ghoul and eventually recruited the sole survivor to help complete the vault's experiments. It does seem like, though, because this has been a reoccurring thing. The vaults that are used for like other purposes don't get complete, and I wonder if that's because they got all of the living vaults done first, and then the next phase, right, was like this part, and then that was when the bombs dropped, and they just didn't have enough time.
I would
Maybe?
see that. Okay, I could see that.
This is actually an interesting one.
Let's see.
Okay.
It was led by an overseer named Richard Rubin. I think
Another
they based
Rubin.
that off of Rick Rubin, and you'll see why.
What? That's
So-
outlandish.
So this overseer, Richard Rubin, promised to preserve the musically talented of the U.S. population.
Oh.
However, the true purpose of the vault was to conduct a medical experiment where white noise was used, along with combat suggestions within the minds of the vault dwellers. The dwellers, they began to exhibit psychotic behavior, which led to several deaths. And also the water began to leak into the vault, causing flooding, which eventually led to the downfall of the vault. To get all of the best creative minds to put them in a place and then to make them go crazy with like white noise and other tactics
Yeah, it's pretty insidious.
is pretty wild,
Yeah,
bro.
dude. I was gonna say that. It's like, that's fucked.
So I guess that's why
Rick
all the music
Rubin?
is old in Fallout.
It's always Rick Rubin, dude.
Right? The name is so similar. I think that they kind of put that as like a little Easter egg.
God, that's crazy though. Imagine.
Richard Rubin to Rick
Like, I'm
Rubin.
about to beat a bunch of talented musicians, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Nah, homie, you fucked."
So the first thing that they told him was that the dwellers would be tasked with preserving the natural environment surrounding the vault. But the true purpose was to test how a nonviolent religious community would adapt to interacting with the outside world. When the bombs were falling, 2 separate buses were driven to the vault with people in them. There was one that made it inside and one bus that didn't make it inside. So off bat, half the population is not there.
Okay.
So a year later, they opened their doors. Ambassadors went out into the town and attempted to bring in new members from the surface. The surface people got suspicious and ended up wiping out the majority of the vault. The outsiders mistaked the GEC for a mind control device. They started shooting at it, which caused a level 6 nuclear explosion.
Oh my goodness.
This caused radiation in the surrounding areas to turn organisms into mutated creatures. And the area is known as the Mire.
Wow.
So they accidentally shot the GEC, bro, caused the level 6 nuclear explosion. And yeah, it created this, I'm guessing, mutated area called the Mire, where there's probably a lot of interesting creatures.
Dang, dude. I got pretty crazy right there.
Yeah, dude. This is Vault 95. It consisted of chem addicts undergoing experimental rehabilitation for their addictions. It was successful for
game?
several years
Yeah.
until a Vault Tech agent disguised as a fellow Vault dweller opened the stash of drugs hidden within the vault. When the dwellers discovered this in the morning, it led to madness. Some gave in to the urges, some maintained their sobriety. And it's not known what happened after this occurrence. But as of 2287, the vault is occupied by gunners.
Yeah.
So yeah, they...
Those guys were hard to kill in the game. Very strong.
Is it because they were on Psycho and stuff?
The gunners weren't really
Oh,
on
the
Psycho. They
gunners.
were just like really like
Yeah.
decked out.
That is pretty insidious, bro,
Yeah.
to have a vault guy disguised, knowing that you're going to open it at a certain amount of time. You're living amongst these people. And then
Yeah.
one day the day comes, you open it, and then you just see chaos.
There's this one character, Kate, in Fallout 4 that you basically befriend, and then over time you become like a couple to the point where
Is that the journalist?
No, I think that's Piper.
Oh, yeah, it is.
The other one that you find from like it's called the combat zone, where you go and fight where raiders actually go and fight each other. But you save her, and then
Interesting.
eventually you get her because she wants to get sober, so you get her to this vault. But you got to go through the gunners, and then eventually like get her on this machine, and it looks horrible because like they gotta like inject her, and then after that
Yeah.
she's like completely sober.
So now we're on Vault 96. Again, something else that they advertised, and it wasn't truly that. They advertised it so that they could monitor the damage done to the local fauna, which I'm guessing is like the foliage.
Yep.
Yep.
After the bombs dropped, they found out that the true purpose was to conduct unethical experiments on mutated animals, cryogenically frozen inside the vault in order to find a way to counteract their mutations. So it's not that insidious of a purpose. They're just trying to figure out how to reverse this, but you're also risking a danger because now you have a bunch of frozen mutated things in your vault.
Right.
So
That's interesting.
there's more to this story.
Let me hear it.
Oh.
Okay, the experiment duration was set for 250 weeks after the residents would be killed and the overseer set free. So actually, it is insidious. They were doing these experiments, but at the end, they were going to kill all of them anyways.
Okay.
One day, the scientists tried to put a virus on the mainframe so that they could flee because it wasn't going to open because it was on a program, right? Once the 250 weeks were done, then it was going to open, which it did, but it also set off the trigger to kill everybody except the overseer.
Ew.
That meant that now the vault is open for creatures inside to get out and creatures outside to get in. And in 2104, Edgar Blackburn used the... What the fuck? Okay, so... okay. In 2104, there was a guy named Edgar who
What
used
was that?
the vault's equipment. That's all.
Okay. Is that a stroke?
So now we have Vault 101
Oh
Dalmatians.
my God.
It's in West Springvale, Virginia. The residents remained isolated. The overseer fabricated an illusion that the surface world wasn't habitable, leading to the belief that the only survival existed inside of the vault. Eventually, a new overseer was in power, and they sent out an expedition team. The overseer was a part of the team and never returned.
That's Alphonse.
It's Alphonse.
Shout out Alphonse, dog.
Yeah, that's my boy.
Okay, and then one day, a man named James. One day, a man.
One day, the named Jane did this.
One day. Yeah. dog. All right.
Keep all this in, by the way. Don't edit this podcast.
So this vault was closed down to everybody. And then one day, there was this man. His name was James. He came to the vault with his little kid, and he had doctor skills. So he basically said, if you give me and my kid shelter, I'll give you
Right.
doctor skills for
The
your vault.
outsider became the
They
doctor.
accepted. They let him in.
Okay.
And then in 2277, a rad roach infestation.
Infantation? Inventions? Incentations?
It looks bigger than the thumb.
Let's go log in, mate.
In 2277, a rad roach infestation allowed James to escape. Vault 101 is in your hands in the game, bro.
Oh my God.
This is the last sentence, bro. It's tripping me out. It's tripping me out. I'm gonna give it one more try.
That was, that was a moment of weakness for me as well, bro. Don't even worry about it, bro. Y'all didn't need to see all
Because
that.
I looked over, bro, and he was like,
Dude, I was trying to hold together. I'm being bad, bro. It's on me.
it's okay.
Anywho,
It was my bad, bro.
resume.
right. In the year 2020.
Don't do it.
Okay. In the year 2277, a rad roach infestation allowed James to escape. And the fate of that vault is in your hands in the game. Fuck, dude. Fuck, bro. It's that last line. What is it about that last line that's not fucking good, bro?
Fuck, dude.
Fuck.
I was straight crying that whole time. Not even laughing, dude. Just straight tears, bro. I was trying not to fucking do it.
I think when I'm done, I need a little bit of, oh. Huh.
Don't do it again.
All right, one more time.
Yeah, whenever
Wait.
he's finished, you can't just stare at him.
Yeah,
no.
Because then I'm like,
Yeah, dude.
Oh.
You know what? You're right.
You should say
Who's gonna say, oh?
no. You should for that last sentence.
Yeah.
Just don't look at it.
okay.
Don't look at it.
And third time's the charm. And don't look at
Or
it.
should I
like
just
this.
fucking cut that sentence? Because, like,
No, say it.
Dude. Dude, we gotta make it happen at this
okay.
point.
But you guys have to act normal afterwards.
Yeah, you're right. We're not helping too.
You can't just be like,
100%.
Okay.
What is the kid doing that?
All right. This is it. I'm
I
just
don't
gonna.
think he did, actually.
This is it. I'm just gonna
Okay.
close eyes. Not even here, dude. Really.
Close eyes.
Abby, should we move on?
I don't even know what you were trying to say
Dude,
anymore.
I
like,
lost
I forgot.
my-
All I was
whole
trying to
train.
say is that, like, the fate of the vault is, like, in your hands in the game. And that just is not hitting at all.
I think maybe you don't need it.
I don't think we need.
It's
Everyone
causing you
close
this much
eyes
turmoil.
and listen.
Said that That's not hitting it off. Is that all we're hung up on? Oh, fuck. Yeah, no, it was a good try.
It's in your like a trailer. Or
It's
something.
in your head, Joe. What the fuck did it turn into? Fuck, this isn't like a fucking actual documentary or a fucking like advertisement. What the fuck?
It didn't have a tone, bro.
Download now.
Yes, we're not in that situation.
Okay.
I'm not proud of that.
We gotta move on.
No, we did it.
I'm weak. 106.
Okay, now we're on 106.
All right, bet.
I'll do this one.
Thank you.
Northeastern Virginia. Medical experiment studying effects of psychoactive drugs released via air filtration systems. Population erupted in violence after drugs were released. Ultimate fate of inhabitants is unknown. Drugs remained in air supply for 200 years, causing insanity and hallucinations as survivors who entered.
Whoa. Interesting.
That sucks.
Like a psychedelic
It's like
nightmare,
acid
dude.
and all the
Like all the time.
shrooms.
Your day just becomes like that.
You
Oh,
get
my
psychotic,
goodness.
bro. Like you lose your mind.
Yeah.
200
It'd be cool
years.
for like a day.
200 years.
And then not so cool.
Could you imagine how people would probably weirdly evolve after 200 years?
Yeah. Okay, so like that would be your new normal. Is just total psychedelic. I don't know if I could deal with that, bro. Especially first generation, from being normal to like everything's moving constantly. If it's that type of psychoactive chemical,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. If the walls are always
200
breathing,
years. They got like so used to it.
Or they're just like
Yeah,
we're zen
you
out,
adapt,
dude,
bro.
24/7, bro. Yeah,
And they coexist with the hallucinations.
it could happen. But then once
That'd
the
be
door's
cool.
opened, you'd have to stay with it, or else
just
you'd
some
go through
fucking
crazy withdrawal.
just some crazy sage like high fucking. What's up, man?
Yeah.
Just some sage. Album.
You walk into the vault, it's all like tapestries and like
Yeah, dude.
nice candles and incense.
Imagine. That'd be sick. Maybe it could be cool if somehow everyone held their fucking shit together, had their shit together, which is, I don't know how that would possibly happen, but yeah, if it did, down as fuck. All right, Vault 108 is north of Washington, D.C., Maryland, in the Capital Wasteland. Social experiment studying effects of leadership conflicts. Most management positions were to be filled by a terminally ill overseer upon entry.
Joe Byron.
Interesting. Power systems were designed to fail after 20 years. No entertainment was provided and armor was provided triple the standard ordinance.
Okay, so they had more guns than a usual vault. But a
Yeah.
lot of problems, huh? Terminally ill
Interesting.
overseer?
Okay, so social media studying effects of leadership conflicts. Interesting. Okay. That's a very interesting one, actually. Most management. Of course, it said north of Washington, D.C.
Okay, but power systems designed to fail after 20 years? That's not cool. So
That's
first
very
gen is
interesting.
seeing the outside.
Yeah, that's interesting. So that means like every gen would go through some shit.
But see, it's like
Power
kind of like a
systems switch.
backhanded compliment, because then they also gave him triple firepower.
But no entertainment was provided.
Yeah, so it's like, what are you guys trying to do?
But for what?
Armor
Right.
was provided. Interesting. Okay, so it says in addition to stated purpose, Vault was also provided with a cloning device. A single inhabitant, Gary, was cloned repeatedly. Clones eventually turned violent and overran the vault.
Let's go,
So
dude.
shit got real different.
Gary,
dude.
dude.
I've seen this one.
So now it's just a shit ton of Garys.
I think it's just like a bald looking guy.
That's
When it's Fallout
hilarious.
3.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, I'm delighted.
Oh, yeah,
What the fuck?
Vault
I'm
to 100.
Okay, 111. Actually, the house that I grew up in house number is 111.
No way.
That's crazy.
That's actually sick.
Okay, Sanctuary Hills, Massachusetts. Medical experiments studying long-term effects of cryogenic stasis on unwilling subjects. So, like, the whole neighborhood basically got frozen. All clear signal was never received, resulting in a coup of vault security and the abandonment of the vault. One test subject, an infant named Sean, was extracted from stasis by kidnapped by Institute agents. The remaining subjects died due to power failure failure save for a sole survivor. So yeah, right in the beginning of the game, that's what the
Sean is your kid.
Yeah, so they kidnap him, and it's this guy called Kellogg, and he comes and he basically also kills your significant other because they were holding the baby.
Yeah, and then
So they take the baby because they thought it was gonna be the perfect like non-radiated subject to be able to run the institute and be like.
Yeah.
So like yeah, spoiler, like if you haven't played Fallout, that turns out to be the owner of the institute.
And it's kind of crazy that
The
like
father. I think they call him father.
and like you see that scene and then you go back under and it's been like years, bro. So it's like you come back alive
Yeah.
and you're like, how long has it been? Like your infant that you just saw is now like grown.
It was like, I don't know, 50 to 80 years. Because he was already really old, actually, like, just about to die, so.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. If you choose on his side and do things for him, like, he'll offer you to be able to run the institute.
And you're like, I created you.
112 is Smith Casey's Garage, Virginia. Capital Wasteland.
Interesting name for a location.
Yeah,
Like a
very-
vault is in a garage.
Yeah, it's a Smith Casey's, dude. Yeah, it is interesting. Social experiment in which inhabitants were placed in a virtual reality simulation controlled by the overseer. Interesting.
Meta,
Okay.
Zuckerberg.
That's very interesting. Let's see what happens. The experiment was designed by overseer Stanislaus Braun for his own psychotic amusement. After entry, Braun tortured the inhabitants for centuries. Dang, dude, that's actually really shitty. Oh my god. Just torture people with virtual reality.
That is insane. And I also
Yeah.
wonder how can they not get out of it? It must be a system where they're like stuck, right?
And
Mhm.
But then how do they eat and stuff?
Because how did he do it for centuries? That's what
Yeah.
I'm wondering.
Centuries, that's crazy.
You'd have to get
It's like
crafty.
the Matrix.
Yeah.
Like they're in like pods that are like
The
feeding them or something.
simulation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
God, dude.
It's interesting too because I wonder who would be if that happened today. Like who would be on that round table? Like would Mr. House be like Elon Musk? Would there be Zucks? Would there be like all these people like around the table that could get a vault? I don't know. I guess it would just be people with influence
Yeah.
whenever it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang.
But-
so if that's bad, then that's shitty. If it was a cool
If
reality,
that's bad, then that's shitty.
that's like really shitty. But if it's like a cool, like fun, like
right.
virtual
What is
reality,
it? Are we playing like
what I'm saying.
some games or is it like torture?
Yeah. Like it
Well,
just,
it says
didn't necess-
torture, so it's probably not great.
Boston, Massachusetts. Social experiments in which wealthy inhabitants would be stripped of luxury and forced to live in cramped squalor under an incompetent overseer. The vault was
Interesting.
never completed, possibly due to contract fraud and or embezzlement. Construction site was eventually taken over by Skinny Malone's Triggerman outfit.
Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong, but this seems like a third world country vault. Like you have like an overseer that's may not be the best. You're living in like cramped things.
Yeah, he's
You know what I
like
mean?
he's like in like an army general or something
Yeah, and that's not to say that all third world countries are like shitty.
for being,
You
but
know.
like an army general would have you.
Yeah, it's
But
just
incompetent. It's kind of weird.
yeah, that is weird.
But yeah, like the Triggermen are these like mafia-looking ghouls.
Okay.
Oh, so Skinny Malone.
118 Cliffs Edge Hotel, Mount Desert Island, Maine. This is the island, so it's like an expansion to Fallout 4. Social experiment in which 10 wealthy residents would live in luxury. Oh, the opposite. While 300 impoverished residents lived in squalor, with wealthy residents granted total authority.
Okay, do
Whoa,
they know about
what?
each other?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
They're in the same vault. Lower class section of the vault was never completed due to embezzlement of construction funds. Inhabitants of the luxury section eventually transfer themselves into robo-brains to achieve immortality and continue to occupy the vault. That is so weird. They don't want to die. They had all this power, and now they live forever.
They're just living on in robo brains.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've found this vault in the DLC. I'm gonna have to in my next run.
Well, that is all of the known vaults.
Oh, the question.
So, if you had to pick a vault to live in, which one would it be? And it can't be the control vault. It has to be one that has an experiment.
All right, I'm just going to give the stupid
And
guy
also,
answer.
the one that you would also definitely not want to be in.
Okay.
Okay, I would do 69 is the one I want to be in, and 68 the one I wouldn't want to be in.
Okay, that one's easy.
That one was pretty easy.
Is that all of your answers?
No, I'm not.
It can be. You guys got to pick something different. You got to.
I wouldn't want to be in Natty 2, the medical experiment with the white noise.
Ooh, that would suck. But you might be put in there because you're a musician.
But that's like torture. Like you don't
Yeah,
even.
sucks.
Yeah.
Sucks.
I would probably want to be in.
We did go through a shit
I'm
ton.
just gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna do 31, like the one from the show. It's because the show's good.
I mean, it's definitely active. Things are happening on a daily basis. And there's a lot of mystery. And you're connected to vaults.
I'm surprised you didn't pick the one where like stuff is always breaking. See,
Oh, I did say that
was a
earlier.
good one.
I forgot
because I
about
feel
that
like
one.
you
Yeah.
would thrive in that one.
Okay, wait.
That's what happens in my life.
So 22 for sure would not want to do 22. The modified carrier. Okay. So one that's not a control of the experiment. I'll just do the one where they turn people into super mutants.
You
What
wanna
a
be
guy.
super mutant?
Mm.
Fair.
Fuck it, bro.
Fair.
Let's go.
Yeah,
Yeah, just turn me into super mutant. I'm done.
And then before we go, what about you, Abby? Which ones would you pick?
Ah,
I was moving the camera angle, but Abby, you were saying that you would want to be in like probably the gambling one,
oh
and
yeah,
probably not be in the one that it's like you're the only chick.
yeah,
Yeah, that makes
or
sense.
the gulper
Oh yeah,
Oh.
yeah,
one,
yeah.
or the monsters eat you after you birth them.
I either
It's rugged.
I either want to do the super mutant or the is it number 4 where they all have like the weird body parts everywhere.
Yeah.
So they have 4 arms. Either
Yeah.
super mutant or that one.
Okay,
Yeah,
good one.
4
that'd
arms.
be cool.
I'm gonna
That'd be
take the
cool.
opportunity to become some crazy shit.
Like I think we can all agree that there's a lot more that are not good. I think we can all agree that there's a lot more vaults that aren't good than are good. So I think we can all agree.